mission to build a zoo.
It was an honor for me to interview Kilian Schmitt, the game designer of Planet Zoo, and I was able to ask him questions. During our conversation, we discussed the inclusion of birds in the game, making it worthwhile to stay until the end of the video.
Planet Zoo is a part of our Planet franchise and was created with the aspiration to allow players to create the ultimate zoo of their dreams while reflecting the important conservation work zoos provide in the real world. Throughout the production phases of the base game, the team collaborated with and visited several zoos and experts in order to learn about the challenges and processes of zookeeping so they could be implemented as authentic and engaging game mechanics. These partnerships persist today still, and for every DLC and animal that the team is working on, we consult with local zoos and external researchers to ensure animals are authentic to their real-life counterparts. During development of an animal, the first steps include heavy research into behaviors and unique traits of the species. We work with an external researcher to help fact-check and provide key information. A lot of reference material is gathered to get a feel for the animal's activity levels, movements, vocalizations, etc. Once key behaviors are identified, work on the animal's model, animations and behaviors are started. In some species, certain traits require more work or attention than in other animals, for instance with the conservation pack Siamang's inflatable throat sac. Our goal is to depict the animals as realistically as possible and highlight their unique features, so challenges like this are a great opportunity to bring nature's wonderful quirks to our players and make the animals as interesting to play with as possible. We love seeing discussions and feedback among our incredibly creative and knowledgeable community. During early concept phases for new DLC, we work with the game director's vision on themes and animals, considering information such as the animal's conservation status, frequency in captivity and scope of work required. Another factor considered is the popularity of the animal. Looking into our forums and other channels where players exchange ideas is very helpful with that. Same goes for updates. We often know which features we want to add into the base game alongside each pack, but we always keep an eye out for discussions that point us towards adding further quality of life enhancements and tweaks to the game. A great benefit to our long-standing post-launch support is the opportunity to shape the game together with our community. Outside of working with the amazing team, seeing our players react to the content we produce with every update, and sharing their amazing creations on the Steam Workshop is incredibly rewarding. We've even gotten feedback from players that pursued or entered careers in conservation inspired by playing Planet Zoo. Being able to impact people's lives like this is super gratifying as a developer. Animals and their behaviors go through several rounds of iteration throughout development. We aim to depict animals as realistically as possible, so keeping an eye out on little details throughout the development process is very important to us. When it comes to the appearance of an animal, we establish the desired look of our model prior to working on it, covering every detail from dimensions, color, and shapes. This can range from the angle of the eye to the hairs in ears to the underside of hooves and feet. For behaviors, we abstract a design of the behavior into the simulation so that we can ensure a unique but manageable experience. As an example, the chorus behavior released with Update 1.10 introduced the ability for animals to vocalize in a group. For this we established rules of when the behavior can happen, and gradually tweaked it so that the length, number of participants, number of calls, and frequency of the calls felt authentic as well as appropriate for each eligible species. It's hard to pick a favorite from so many different animals that we get to spend so much time on. I'm quite fond of the red deer, last year's free anniversary animal. It's such a gorgeous model with elegant animations. Many animals had different challenges that required different departments to look at solutions that would add to the animal's authenticity and add interesting gameplay for our players. The recent release of the tropical pack adds the brown-throated sloth to the game, residing in the walkthrough exhibit facility. We have talked about the challenges the team faced when creating this animal in our latest dev journal, but are so pleased with the results. Other challenging animals include the whole roster of our aquatic pack, due to them being the first animals that had access to underwater swimming. A whole set of challenges to coding, rigging, animation and design teams to conquer that ultimately allowed us to expand habitat gameplay into a whole other dimension. We have nothing to announce regarding bringing flighted birds to Planet Zoo. We understand and acknowledge the amazing creators and their work in the modding community, as well as in our community, enabling additional creativity with species that are not officially released. However, modifying game files can cause compatibility issues and crashes when trying to run the game, especially if a new update has been released and are not supported for Planet Zoo. One of the most important aspects of real-world zoos is the conservation and rewilding of threatened species, and the education of their guests on these issues. These are values we aim to highlight and champion with Planet Zoo. As well as within many aspects of the base game, we dedicated our conservation pack to this theme, adding 5 species that are endangered, critically endangered, or even extinct in the wild, as well as sustainability-focused scenery. The game features lots of information on every single animal in our Zoopedia, and we hope that through this we can contribute a little to spreading awareness about humanity's impact on the environment and what animal conservation means. We know of some players that have written to us that Planet Zoo in part inspired them to take up careers or studies in the areas of conservation and zoology, and we're incredibly happy to be a part of a fun and impactful game.